You guys asked for it and Razer delivered once again. What's up guys, it's BT here and I gotta pull an MKBHD on you today as I've had the pleasure of using the Huntsman Mini for about a few months now and I'm here to give you guys my thoughts. Now this is the follow-up to their ever popular Huntsman TE keyboard featuring one of the fastest, if not the fastest switch for gaming on the market currently. Now at a first glance you might think this is just another 60% version of the original Huntsman TE, but no. They've also once again listened to the feedback from not only the reviewers but also from you, the consumers, and man, I just feel like a broken record at this point. I mean, at this point we just might as well just assume that Razer is going to keep making their products better and better every release. I think we might be at that point now guys where we can just say, hey, this product's going to be better than their last. So now that we got that out of the way, let's hop into the review. Now these are going to be available in a black version as well as a white Mercury version as well. They sent me this Mercury version in a very nice case, to say the least. It feels almost like a treasure chest. Well, I guess it is because you're getting this like amazing 60% keyboard in here. Now the packaging on the normal version is very simple. It'll have just the keyboard and then you're going to find the braided USB-C cable as well, which is detachable, might I add. It also has these little lines that kind of slide into the casing of the keyboard that allows you to make it fit a little bit more snug and it's not going to move around, but it also allows enough room so if you want to have your own custom keyboard cable, you can do that as well here. So I love that they're not limiting us on what kind of cord we are going to be using, just like some other companies that we know. I don't want to name any names today. Taking a look at the keyboard design, it follows the same build as its older brother or bigger brother, the Huntsman TE, with a plastic build, and then it's got that aluminum case along the top. I like that they kept the bezels minimal on the Huntsman Mini compared to the Huntsman TE. It just makes it that much more compact not having those big bezels. It's super lightweight as well, making this easy to transport. So if you're going to like a tournament, this is going to be great, especially with that detachable cord. It'd be cool if tournaments just had the cord already ready for you to go. You can lug this thing around, plug it in. You know, you don't have this thick cable that you got to worry about bending and putting into your backpack to travel with. So I really like the design choices Razer has gone with their newer keyboards. So on the bottom side of the keyboard, you're going to have these 4 square feet. I did run into one issue though on my black version, the clicky version. It tilts a little bit and kind of teeters on the bottom left and top right side. So I think the keyboard feet are a little bit uneven here. I'm trying to put my finger on it. I was kind of messing around with it, but it's a little bit uneven. On my white version, it's totally fine. I don't have that issue. So if you do get that issue, probably just do a return and get another one. The Mini also has the 2 kickstand level feet, so you can put your keyboard flat at a level 2 or a level 3, which is really nice. It gives you some variation for the level of your keyboard. All in all, you guys know I'm a big fan of the kickstand feet, and both systems really keep this keyboard in place. It's not going to be sliding around like a slip and slide on your desk. Now the keycaps are double shot PBT and they feel great. It's a great balance between not being too rough but also giving you that durability of a PBT keycap. Along the bottom side of the keycaps, they have the alternate function keys, so they'll have like the F row along the top row. They'll have the multimedia keys on the second row. You'll have the ability to control your lighting using the FN and control. So there's a lot of flexibility with this keyboard. You're not giving up a lot. It's just more compact. So don't think loss. Think of just squeezing everything into a smaller package. I think the next step for Razer would be maybe adding in some rubberized keycaps or some different colorways. So they've got some two-tone colorways going on. They've got a few colors like the green and the white and the pink, but it would be nice to see if they could push this a little bit further with their keycaps. And I think this would further bridge the gap between like custom keyboards and stock keyboards. The white keycaps are holding up quite nicely, so no need to worry there. So these are going to come in 2 different switches. They're going to have their optical clicky switch as well as their linear switch. The clicky switch is going to be 120 and the linear switch is going to be 130. So somebody recently on my Twitch stream asked me, what is my favorite clicky switch? And people were surprised that I said the Razer purple optical switches. They're that good. They're light. They're not super heavy and clicky. I like that they're very light to the touch. You get that tactility, you get the sound. You know, sometimes with blue switches, they're a little bit too heavy, too clicky for me. So I like these. These are nice. It's very nice. These are like a nice balance between like a clicky and a tactile switch. Now the clicky switch is going to have a little bit deeper of an actuation at 1.5 millimeters compared to 1 millimeters on the linear. So depending if you want to give up a little bit of the speed for the clickiness, it's really up to you. I find that with this clicky switch, I make less errors during typing and I'm still able to have a similar speed to the linear. But if you have a need for speed, you're a cracked out builder on Fortnite, or if you just want to get better at like jiggle peeking in Valorant like I am, then I feel like the linear switch is slightly better in that regard. Meanwhile, the purple is more of like a balanced typing and gaming experience. Now, while we're on the topic of switches, they've listened to the feedback from the Huntsman TE. They know that we were not happy with the sound, and they've told me straight up now they are heavily lubing their switches, and it is night and day in terms of sound. It pretty much cuts out about half the amount of noise the original one makes. There's less of the pingy reverb sound like there was in the original. Even on the prototype, they have the old switches, which I'm going to show you the difference between that one and the newer switches, and it is night and day in terms of sound, and I was surprised at just how good of a job they did. Now, them lubing the switches like they did kind of slows down the key switches slightly, but that's just like you would find on like a custom keyboard. If you're gonna heavily lube something, the switch is gonna slow down slightly. But I find that they've kind of made a nice compromise between the sound and the overall feel and fastness of the switch. So let's drop a sound test for you guys right about now so you guys can hear the difference and the improvements over the old switches. Oh yeah, those purple clicky optical switches really hit differently than other clicky switches, and the linear switches sound way better if you can tell compared to the original. The stabilizers do still need a little bit of work on like the space bar, especially the enter keys and the shift keys, and I think it's because they have these little modifiers on them which make them a little bit less stable than a normal cherry stabilizer would be. Now, it's not as bad as a Logitech board or a Corsair board, but that's not saying much, let's be real. Now, you can customize the keyboard in the Synapse software, including the RGB, the macros. Now, I know Synapse isn't your guys' favorite software, but since this has onboard memory, you can just configure your keyboard once with everything you need and then delete the software and it'll keep your settings on board. The more you know. Now, you can also control the RGB by pressing the control function in 1 through 6, everything from turning your RGB all the way off to a reactive and rainbow wave modes. Alright guys, so Razer has really put forth a real contender for your money for a 60% keyboard. They've got the optical switches that give you instant registration to your computer on every keystroke. They've got the PBT keycaps. They've got the standard bottom row. They've got the detachable cord. The sound is getting better. I think they just need to work on their stabilizers a little bit more so that they're not so rattly. And I would like to see them compete with Ducky and release this keyboard for maybe 99 for the purple and 110 for the linear switch. Outside of that, I give them props for giving you guys what you wanted in a 60% form factor, and hopefully they can actually keep these in stock. And I think these are actually going to sell like hotcakes and become the new keyboard that everybody gets. For me personally, it's really helped my jiggle peeking in Valorant compared to my heavier switches. I was trying to game with some like H1 switches, which are like 78 grams, and I realized when I would like try to jiggle peek with heavier switches, when I would try to come back up on the switch, it would still be registering that switch. So like I wouldn't be stopped completely, so my shots would just be like flying all over. You guys know how it is in Valorant. If you move even in a millimeter, your shots going to the moon, right? So this keyboard has actually helped me a lot, and I usually switch to it from my custom keyboards when I'm going to game nowadays. So yeah, guys, don't sleep on this. Definitely pick one up if you are in the market for a 60% keyboard. If you need something to just game with, this is gonna be your guy. This has kind of been my gamer board outside of my custom keyboards. Now I know you guys are gonna be asking, is this better than the Ducky 1-2 Mini? Which one should I get? Well, that sounds like a great idea for a video. Alright guys, it's been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.